Hey, how's everybody doing out there? This is Craig at Stumpy Grump Scale Speed Shop, and I've got another completed build video for you guys. This one will cover numbers 30 through 34, and will have a bit of a Oldsmobile vibe to it. There's 3 of the 5 are Oldsmobiles, and all 5 will have been done with using craft paints through my airbrush. So a little bit of an Oldsmobile and craft paint vibe for these 5. So let me get the camera turned around and we'll get going on them. Okay, so we'll start things off with the AMT 1969 Oldsmobile 442 W30. It's in 1/25th scale. This one is painted in Deco Art, Dazzling Metallics Berry. I cleared it with Deco Art gloss varnish. Everything was airbrushed. You can see I used the black stripes. All the trim, this up here, and the window trim was all done with bare metal foil. The tires came that way, the Tempo printed Firestone wide ovals. Just a craft paint interior, black interior. Okay, so I got the car tipped upside down here, and I'll show, I did a little bit of weathering on the underneath of it to pick out a little bit of the chassis details that's on this one. Just using craft paint as usual to do that. Okay, and then we'll zoom in on the engine. You can see the red fender wells to designate the W30 option, not the 442, the W30 option. I did do spark plug wires, and you can barely see the heater hoses. Right there going into the back of the block, and then going across the valve cover there to the water pump. Tricky getting these ducts to line up too. Right there and right there. Pretty tricky getting those to line up. But they will. And we'll go into an interior shot. The bare metal foil for the seat trim and the door panels there. Door locks. Spinning it around to the other side. You see the steering wheel and the gauges. Center console and your shifter. I think I had to hand paint these gauges. I don't think I got decals for them. Yeah, looks like hand painted on that. We'll go to the back seat area. And we'll pull it back out. This one was actually a pretty decent kit. There's lots of details in it. It goes together pretty well. Just a well-designed kit from AMT. They've got quite a few good ones. They need a lot to get a bad rap, but they got a lot of really nice kits. I used Acme License Maker to do the W3442 plates. I did hand detail the little rocket emblems back there. I did not use decals for that. I used bare metal foil, foiled it in, and then I very carefully did some Tamiya clear red in there. Of course, I had to touch it up. Didn't get it perfect the first time. Same with the side markers. I bare metal foiled over it. Then I did some Tamiya clear orange. Really nice kit of a really nice car. Really enjoyed building this one. Ended up building 2 more after that. Okay, and up next is the Revell Shelby Cobra 427 SC Super Cobra. This is the street burner kit. I needed a street burner kit for the wheels. This one is done as the second Gumball Rally movie car that I've done. The Blue Cobra, probably the star of the show. I used a custom mix of craft paints that I airbrushed on, and I also airbrushed on Pledge Revive It floor gloss for the clear. For the driving lights here, I just used pieces of styrene, cut them out, rounded them out a little bit to make them, you know, form them to shape a little bit. I used a little piece of wire just to kind of wedge in there, and I carefully glued them onto the wire. And just like with the yellow Camaro, I took the Chevy logo that I had saved and shrunk it down and printed it out and just glued it on. It looks like a decal. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so we'll show the underneath on this one, and I didn't do a whole lot of detailing on this. A little bit of detail painting, but not a lot. Not too much you can do with these anyways. Okay, so we'll go into the engine, and the hood on this does not come off. It just flips up, so that's how we'll do this one. Spark plug wires. Little detail painting to make it look like maybe braided hoses and such. The best I could on the carburetor. Not sure what colors I used, just probably just a mixture of craft paints and whatnot. And the other side. I'll go to the interior. I just show it from the back, not too many different views you can get. I had 2 of these kits. I think I actually used the decals from the other kit to put into this one. Again, make sure craft paint, little thing on to get the steering wheel to look like that, and the shifter knob. One thing I did miss is I did not paint the inside of the door black like it should be, I believe. At least I think that's how they are. We'll zoom back out. This is an old monogram mold. I have another one, a monogram, the same thing, Shelby Cobra 427 SC, but that one is the Dream Rides kit, and it just only come with the wire wheels. I combined a few things from them, you know, make sure I had the right pieces to replicate the movie car. I cut the bumpers off, as the street burner kit didn't have these big bumpers that were on the movie car, and the movie car didn't have the big oval piece of chrome on it that was connected to those, so I had to cut them off. Little things like that, but good kit, good kit. These are really nice kits. You got to be careful a little bit with the front tire on there. For some reason it doesn't go on right. It's like that on both of them. Well, like I said, overall, it's a really nice kit. Really fun to do, really fun to put together. I love Shelby Cobras. They could possibly be my favorite all-time car. Okay, so we'll move on to Oldsmobile, number 2 of this group. This is the Lindberg 1967 Olds 442 Cutlass Supreme. This one's in 1/25th scale. This one was painted with Craft Smart deep bronze and was cleared with Deco Art gloss varnish. I did some wet sanding on it like with the others, but I could have done better. I didn't want to burn through it or anything like that. I was pretty new at wet sanding these varnishes and craft paints, but I could have done better. I did the white interior with black carpeting, just painted the carpet area. I didn't do anything fancy or anything like that to it. Okay, so we flipped this one upside down real quick and give an undercarriage. Detail painted it. I did not do anything like weathering or anything like that. Just some detail painting and whatnot. And zoom in on the engine. You can see the heater hose going to the water pump in the front there. And once again, your air induction ducts. Again, pretty tricky to line up, but just a little bit of patience with them. See the spark plug wires. I kind of went orange just for kind of a little bit of a color match, and you see the back heater hose there in the back of the intake. And the other side. Sorry if the camera's a little shaky. It's kind of hard to hold the phone. I need to have a little stick or something to hold the phone a little more steady, but and we'll get the interior shots. Again, you can kind of see the doorknob, door lock. And a white interior, bare metal foil for the trim. A little bit of the dash details. Spin it around to the other side. Can't really get a good look at the gauges. I'm not really sure. I probably had to paint those too. I don't think these came with the gauge decals. This one did. Either painted on Molotov chrome or bare metal foil for the center console. I can't remember. A shot of the back seats and door panels there. This was actually a pretty nice kit. I was surprised. I didn't think Lindberg really put out too much for good kits, but I saw another review on it and I decided I wanted it and take a shot at building it. I did use parts box wheels and tires. The wheels, I believe, came from the 69 442 that was in the first video. The tires, I don't know what those came off of. This those Michelin TRX tires. BF Goodrich Radio TA white letter decals came from Fireball Model Works. This back window trim here and all of this side trim is on the chrome tree. The side door trim And the front window trim is bare metal foil. The wipers come on the chrome tree, the mirrors, the door handles, your vent windows, those are all on the chrome tree. Pretty slick. Pretty sparse on decals, just get those little 442 emblems for the front and the back and the sides. But these didn't really have that stripe package, so not many decals needed. But a pretty decent kit. I was really surprised. Well done interior, separate door panels and all that. So pretty impressed. Pretty well done kit from Lindberg. Okay, so up next is the AMT 1970 Monte Carlo SS 454. And this one comes with the flat hood in the kit. And what I wanted was, the cowl induction hood. So we'll take this off. Doesn't really fit right anyways. Probably because there's a lot of detail stuff underneath the engine. From Lexus Scale Modeling. And again, this one doesn't fit the best either. I think I over trimmed it, is what I did. Did some over trimming on it and just went too far. But Lexus Scale Modeling. When I got all my other hoods, I got the factory cowl induction hood. So I'm using that. Okay, this one was airbrushed in Folk Art Metallic Peridot, or Peridot, whatever it's pronounced, I don't know. I call it Peridot. I used Folk Art Hunter Green for the vinyl top, my first attempt at a vinyl top, which I think turned out pretty darn nice. Pretty happy with it. The interior is Hunter Green with some Folk Art Basil Green for the seat inserts. And I did a little bit of mixing for the dash and the carpet between the two to have a little bit of a color difference for everything in there. But for the vinyl top, I didn't use anything. I used a thin styrene strip to replicate the seams. And what I did is I just sprayed the craft paint from a greater distance than I normally do, so that it maybe dries before it gets to the surface a little bit and gives you a little bit of texture. And then I put another coat or two closer to it to get that coverage in there. And I think that worked out pretty good, actually. It's the Deco Art gloss varnish for the clear. I did wet sand it, but again, I was still new at using that, and I didn't overly wet sand, so I didn't want to go too far, do too much, and ruin it. So I'm sure I could have done better. I did not use the kit wheels and tires, although you do get the rallies in the kit. I used different rallies and different tires because they're just those scrubby, I can't even explain. I'll probably try to show a pickup there of the tires that come in the kit. The wheels are actually pretty good, but with the tires I used, the wheels didn't fit, so I had to use different ones. BF Goodrich Radial TA decals, once again from Fireball Model Works. Excellent product. And it'll give a nice undercarriage shot here. I did some weathering on this one. Try to make it look a little used there. Once again, just some various craft paints. Okay, we'll zoom in on the engine compartment. You can see there's two hoods on either side. You can see them both there. I did add the spark plug wires on there. It looks kind of ugly. I did green to match the color of the car. In hindsight, probably not the best choice to make. And I probably could have used a different air cleaner or tried to chrome the air cleaner instead of just painting it silver. But that's how it looks. It's the other side. The kit does come with all this air conditioning, compressors, and all that stuff, and actually those heater hoses right there. Got your heater hoses included. We'll take it to the other side, and I did add this little wire here. That one there. I just added that little wire there. Nothing major. We'll swing it around to get the interior here. Horseshoe shifter. Did do the wood grain for the dash and for the console. Spin it around to the other side. The driver's side, did add door locks. Gauges, once again, I don't know if they came with decals or not. I cannot remember. I can't see from here. Take a second to peek inside there, and yes, those are decals for the gauges. Oh, I'm not sure if they came with the kit. I'm thinking they did. And a shot of the back seat. Zoom it back out. This is one of AMT's better kits. It's a great kit. You have all the separate door panels, a lot of details, a lot of depth of details and everything like that molded in. Really fantastic. There's a few problems with it, but you just got to work around them. I didn't work around mine quite as good, but you know, the front end sits kind of high on it. There's things you can do. I did a couple things, but it still sits a little too high for my taste. And as you can see, neither hood really fits on that well. And I think it's mainly got to do with all the details underneath. If you work with your engine detailing, the air cleaner and your air conditioner, compressor and stuff like that under there, it'll probably fit better. Which is something that I should look into. But looks pretty good for me. Once again, Acme license maker for the custom plates. I do that a lot. Okay, and rounding out this block of 5 is going to be the Revell 1983 Hurst Oldsmobile Special Edition. It is a 1/25th scale kit. The black part of it I painted with Delta Ceramcoat Black Pearl. And the lower silver part was done with Deco Art Shimmering Silver. It was cleared with Deco Art Gloss Varnish. I used bare metal foil for the trim all around. I added Fireball Model Works Goodyear Eagle GT white letter tire decals. I made an 83 Hurst license plate using Acme license maker. The decals on this one are tricky to say the least and will definitely test your patience. Anybody who's built this one knows that one for sure. These side fender well decals are quite a number to try to put on, but lots of patience and lots of decal setting solution will get you there. Just stay away from the coffee that morning. The side stripes weren't too bad. for this upper body line. Those weren't bad, but getting them to line up with this stripe going around the front there was a little tricky as well. Your little Hurst Olds decals there were kind of easy, but you know, the rest of them will test your patience for sure. But stick with it. Don't throw it across the room. They're good decals. They won't tear up on you, so you've got that going for you. Once again, use lots of setting solution. Zooming into the engine compartment. Yellow spark plug wires. Did add the heater hoses. Right there. And right there. Pretty decent details on the engine compartment on this kit. Side view. And I did use bare metal foil to chrome the air cleaner top. Not the easiest thing to do, and it probably doesn't look all that great, but if you're going to handle it, it's better than using the Monte chrome. That's kind of hard to handle sometimes. Onto the interior. Your center console, your lightning rod shifters. I did paint the wood grain in the dash there, above the glove box. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I had to use paint. Maybe not. I did have to use paint for the center console as well. They did give you some other decals for the dash, but not the wood grain for some reason. There's your interior, the horn button, and some of the other things like the gauges. Those are decals. Which helps a lot. Bare metal foil for the chrome trim on the seats. You kind of barely see the back seat a little bit there. Overall, though, this kit is an excellent kit. All the Revell Special Edition kits are just fantastic kits. The fit and finish of them is really good. Normally, you get lots of extra parts. This is just a dedicated build for the actual Hurst Olds. There's no real extra parts or anything like that. The 2-in-1s are going to have the extra parts, but not these. The molded in details in the door panels and dashboard and seats and engine compartment, everything else is really, really good. Lots of depth and it really draws things out there. It's really easy to paint detail. I did go gray with the interior instead of the red. Never liked them with the red interior. But outside of the decals giving you a fit sometimes, if you don't have the patience, really, really good, really nice kit. I highly recommend it. So that'll do it for this group. This is Craig at Stumpy Grump Scale Speed Shop signing off, saying thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.